All right, I'm going to be talking to you at DelilahRawFit today. That's at DelilahRawFit. And I'm so excited. This woman, when I saw her, I was like, wow, I want to be like that when I grow up. Do you know what I mean? We're going to get motivated today and inspired how to eat right, how to eat raw, and just find out a bit more about Delilah, their lifestyle. She's full of light, love, colorful, vibrant woman, and I just want to get to know her. So tell your friends to join the live. We're going to find out a bit more about Delilah Raw Fit and her beautiful, amazing, multiple fitness businesses, okay? Got my book and my notes, I'm ready. I'm going to add her now to the live, and we'll get started.
Sweaty? I always get hot and excited at this point. I'll try out my new headphones.
Hey,
Hey,
how you
Delilah!
doing?
I'm
How you
fine. Good to
doing?
see you.
Good,
Good
good
to
to
see
see
you
you
in
too. Good to see
person.
you
You are
too.
beautiful, man. I love your
Yeah.
skin, your hair.
Thank you.
I was watching my
Hey,
son today. Hi, guys.
I'm
We're going to find out
excited.
a bit about Delilah today and her businesses and just a little bit about you.
I'm
My
sharing.
name's Bella. My name's
Hey,
Bella.
oh, I'm
You got
sharing
your
the
friends,
room.
your
I'm
friends
just sharing.
popping in.
Yeah, I'm sharing the room, so I just want to
Yeah.
share it.
Oh, Trumpet's here.
Yeah,
He's
all
a
right, good. All
specialist as
right.
well. Okay, he's going to open my book. I've got a few questions for you today,
Okay.
Delilah.
We're ready. We're
Could
ready.
you tell us a bit about who you are and what you do? And
Well,
just get
I
off the...
am a certified fitness trainer, certified cancer exercise specialist, and I'm a certified fitness nutrition specialist. I've been in
Yes.
the industry for over 30 years. I'm 56. I am somebody who uses movement and food to heal the body. A lot of clients come to me, with diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and just dealing with a plethora of dis-ease, and
Mhm.
also acknowledging people's story, what they've been through in their life and what food means to them. So I
Yes.
basically meet them where they're at. I interview people, I hear their story, because two people could grow up in the same neighborhood and have different experiences. So one
Uh-huh.
size doesn't fit all. One size doesn't fit all. So, and I also acknowledge that there's so many ways to the path of truth, that I think right now people are just looking for some type of sanity, for some type of grounding, something that makes sense in the world, because we're living, a lot is going on in the world. A lot of people are trying to find a way to really live a healthy, loving lifestyle, and also to expose that to their family, their children. We have the
Yeah.
pandemic that's going on right now. Kids been locked up in the house for 2 years. There's people who are giving their kids Ritalin because the kid is too hyper, but also taking into consideration the kid was locked up for 2 years. You know what I mean? So we don't take into consideration the child and what the child is going through. We just put people on drugs. So for me, food is medicine. It has definitely helped me as far as growing up. And my mother had me at 14, and we were on welfare, and we all have different fathers. So I was going to be another statistic and go on welfare, get pregnant, have all of these kids by different daddies, no college. My mother was abused. I've watched her get beat up. Her husband, her boyfriends end up in jail, her eye open with the meat open with it, and us eating food that was not real, and how we got asthma, and how diabetes runs in my family, hypertension, and I have none of those, based on me living a lifestyle where I use food as medicine. And also,
Mm.
I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's so boring. That's so boring. Oh my God, I can't live like that. I have to do something. I need to get out and have fun. Now, I and my sister, being a chef, we put a little Caribbean splash on it because we're Caribbean descent. So we understand what you're
Same,
going
same.
through. Yeah, because when we
Yeah.
first did it, we was the only chocolate people in the circle. We were the only ones. And I understand the taste buds coming from a Caribbean background, what it is. So with the recipes that we share, it's definitely got the Caribbean plantains and all of the, the curry, and I like it,
Mm.
So that's what keeps me in the lifestyle, is that the food has to taste good. So we acknowledge that. And it's also a community. I couldn't do this by myself. So I have people that hold me accountable. They hold my foot to the flame anytime I want to stray. Back when I started this journey, it kept me on the trajectory of basically being part of a circle of people, and I wouldn't want to let them down. Because, we as human, we would do more for other people than we do for ourselves. So I had a collective. I had people that had my back when I fell. They picked me up. So that's how I did it. Because it's not easy. And I'm going to just tell you, I've been doing this for 12 years, and I'm not going to tell you it was easy. It wasn't easy. But now that I've been doing it for 12 years, it's a way of life for me. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. So when I see my family, Thanksgiving is coming up, eating burgers and eating meatloaf and eating ham and chitlins and pork, I can relate because I've been there, but I don't judge them. I don't say, oh, you shouldn't be eating that. Oh, that's so terrible. No, that's not what I'm there for. I have my food. I share the food with them. They eat the salad and they eat their curry goat and they eat their, pork with the salad. But the good thing is that they had a salad so they can eliminate properly. So we have a loving language. We don't judge. We don't judge. We don't judge. We don't judge.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
I feel like if I live with you, I would live in heaven.
Yeah.
I feel like you just complete your whole package. Like every business you have, together, it's basically what do you call it? It's a doctor surgery, but like a real doctor surgery, organic, real raw, supposed to live. And you said that you haven't ate meat for like 25 years.
25 years. That is true. I feel as a person of color, let's just be honest, I watch animals, and I think when you see an animal become slaughtered and they have him in a cage, I being an African American and understanding the trauma, the genetic trauma as a Black woman in America, I understand when I see a police officer, and I understand when I see that my heart gets nervous. So as a person who is coming from a situation where we were put in a ship and we were tied up, couldn't go to the bathroom, and we had to defecate on ourselves. When I see an animal and I see a sheep or I see a cow, and the cow is with the baby and the cow is breastfeeding and feeding his baby, the cow doesn't want to have his baby snatched. The cow wants to live a healthy life. The cow wants to enjoy and have a full life. So I don't kill. And like Martin Luther King, I don't want to study war no more because it's an energy thing. I want to be happy. And part of being happy is to not inflict pain on other people or on other animals. You know what I'm saying? Charity starts with you. Gandhi said, if you want peace, you have to be that peace. You have to manifest that within you. So when I see animals, I see you, I see me, I see a heart. They have a heart, they have lungs, they have eyes, they have a reproductive system, and they want to live. So why should I inflict my, because I want this, I should have it, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to kill you because I want to eat me. Your life doesn't matter. And that's what happens. And I'm seeing that in the world where people are just being very unloving towards each other, and that manifests from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all connected.
Yeah, I was thinking today, when I grew up, my family ate meat. So it's something I was accustomed to as a child. But when I got to my teens and I really got into health and fitness, started to think I don't want to eat meat anymore. So in college, I stopped eating meat. And then when I became pregnant, my midwife, the doctor said to me, I said, I'm feeling really weak in my pregnancy. And then they asked me, eating meat pregnant, so I could get iron. So I said iron in like spinach and food, like a lot of vegetarian. But they told me to basically eat meat to feel more energy while I was pregnant. And I was like, well, I'm a vegetarian.
You also have to understand the medical industry. I train doctors. I have a couple of clients that are doctors, and a lot of them are unhealthy. They know, and we know that they know that we know that it's a business. To be sick is a business. We know that a lot of the doctors are getting, a percentage of every time they sell a drug. We also understand the power of money. We're living in a capitalist society where human life is a commodity. So we have to realize that we're living in a world where human life is not important because it's about the money. It's about the money. So for me, when I was younger and I watched my family die, and I watched them give them insulin, and I watched my grandmother's foot get cut off, and I watched her, then it started with the foot, then it went all the way to the leg, then we had to get the other leg cut off, and eventually she died. And they juiced her up, they insulin her up. She refused, based on her being so hardwired and food being part of her growth with her mother and what she ate. She carried those recipes with her when she felt, emotional eating, when she felt the way, because she never talked about a lot of things. She kept things in, because my family is Panamanian. So whatever happened when she came to this country, something happened, but she would never talk about it. So she would eat her emotions. And part of that was the food, what it did for her. It actually numbed her. And I understand that pain. I understand pain more than what people think that I do. I understand the why. That's why I don't judge people, because people are coming to you with trauma. People trauma bond. So a lot of times I don't judge people. I listen to their story. I give my heart, and I give a helping hand if somebody wants to be helped. Many are called, but the chosen is few. But food is a beautiful thing. It could kill it could kill you, or it could heal you. It has power, so it's really about, and I understand I came from that. I came from a poverty mentality, but it also, I invested in myself. I went to college. I lived in Europe for a little bit. I traveled through Europe. I got out of the hood, living in the hood on welfare. I started meeting other people. I started seeing the world is not flat. The world is round. So, and I have the power of choice. I could just get on a plane and leave the hood and go to Amsterdam and go to Barcelona. And then when I started traveling, that's when my whole world changed. It was me getting out of the hood. And then when I came back, I had something to offer, but a lot of people didn't want what I had to offer. They wasn't interested in eating that food. They would say, "Oh, that's white people food,"
Yeah, you grew. All that traveling, all that experience.
And all of that ignorance that we were, and I understand eating that food, because when we were slaves or whatever, that you had to eat what was on the table. But now you have the power of choice, because you can go to Whole Foods, you can go to the farmer's market. You don't have to do that anymore. So right now, nobody's a victim. It's the power of choice. People are making choices to eat like that. They're not victims. There's no such thing. I have not met anybody on this planet in 2022 that food is being forced down their throat, that somebody's holding them down and giving them donuts. Here, eat these donuts. Eat them. People are actually taking their money. People are actually taking money, currency. Some people say, some energy, currency, money. They're working at a job that they don't like for God knows how many hours, and they take that currency, that money, where they stressed out, and they go get some donuts, they get some alcohol, they go to a club, they do things like that, and nobody's forcing you. You have the power of choice. Yeah, and that's what it is.
You have the power of choice. What would your school friends say about you?
Oh, they cut me off. I had a lot of friends when I was hanging out at the clubs, and people basically, when I started changing, and but the thing with me is that I still was cool. I could get down voguing on the dance floor, but I just don't need alcohol. I got a lot of energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can.
And I'm like, woo, I love to get with it. I'm with it, listen. And, but people was like, yo, what happened? You're not laughing at the jokes anymore. When we go to the restaurant, you eat in the car, and then you just have a glass of water. I was like, yo, but I'm still hanging with you. I'm still your friend. If that's what you want to do, I'm with you. Is that not good enough for you? Nah, you just making me real uncomfortable right now. Then they'll say like, yo, let me buy you a drink. I stopped drinking. I said, well, let me take that money you're going to buy me a drink, and let me pay for groceries. I'll put that towards my groceries. Nah, you got to drink the drink. I want to buy you the drink. No. I was like, nah, I'm good. So they stopped calling. They cut me off. And it's funny because that was a lot of them like 10 years ago. And now I have a friend that has cirrhosis of the liver. I have a friend that found out he has cancer. There's another one. So all of that stuff happened. And then one friend called me up, he has cirrhosis of the liver. And he says, well, can you give me a juice recipe? I just need a juice recipe. And I was like, dude, a juice recipe with all of that plaque in your colon and your intestines, you won't even absorb it. And I was like, I could help you change. Nah, it's too late for me. It's too late for me. I can't do that. I should have changed when you changed, but it's too late for me. I can't do that. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. So it's a choice, because what the person is telling me is that I want to put a Band-Aid on it. I don't want to deal with the root, but I want to deal with the symptoms. But I don't want to. I don't want to end this misery. I want to stay in this misery, and I just want to just keep putting Band-Aids on it and keep putting Band-Aids on it. But I don't want to fix it. You see, we live in a world where people are okay with putting Band-Aids on it, but they don't want to deal with the why. So we can fix it, plug up that situation so it would never exist again. By that, and that's what I did. So by fixing that allowed me to manifest into the person and blossom into the person that I am. And I'm still evolving. I'm still ascending. I'm still growing. I'm still growing, but because I face my demons. It's not easy. It's not easy dealing with your past, with your trauma. People run from it, and they run into sex. They run to sex, which what happens when you run from sex is great in the beginning with the honeymoon stage, and then you have to deal with the trauma. It comes out because you're not cute no more, because now you have to deal with the real person. They run to food. They run to superficial clothes. They get a fancy car. Yeah, it's all fake.
I was like, she's speaking some real stuff.
So
I know, like, go on, sorry.
Oh yeah, so it is what it is. But I have, by the grace of God goes I understand the pain. I understand where all of this is coming from. So my heart, I give my heart, and everything I do with my clients, I give 110%. I pour into people. But with that being said, as a person who pours into people, I make sure I protect my energy too. I make sure that I'm pouring into me, because one of the things about being a healer is that people pull from you. They do. People pull, and I understand, because you're trying to save yourself. But also, when you throw out that lifesaver, make sure you have room for you too, because because people don't understand what they're doing, because they're just looking for help. I need you. I get this on the apps all the time. You look healthy. You look happy. I need you in my life. I need to move in with you. I need 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 you. You know, but energy is reciprocating. Okay, you need me, but in order for me to help you, I need me. You know what I'm saying? So I put myself in a position where I always put myself in for self-care. I never get so busy with other people that I don't have time for me. I do my meditation, my earth walking. I do my sun gazing. I do my exercise, my fitness. I make my food, and I do my meditation. So I ground myself, because if I don't, I can't help anybody. You can't pour from an empty cup. If I become depleted, I am no longer good to my clients. So that's really important. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you make, when people go on your page, or your pages, it makes them look at themselves on a deeper level, because you're not there, you're not on the phone, you can't see how people really feel you. But when I saw you, it made me look at myself really, really on a deeper level. And I'm coming to your retreat in June next year, because I need help as well with I just got diagnosed with overactive thyroid, and it's my heartbeat, you know what I mean? And everything else is, but my heartbeat's like, it's a bit
right.
So I would like something for my heart. My heart broke the year before from a relationship, family, and then when I got the overactive thyroid, it affected my heart again. So it's like, okay, now I need something good for my chakra. I need some help. So now seeing your page made me know that I was on the right path. Made me know that I'm going in the right direction. So you bring light to the darkness.
And that's what I'm saying. We need each other. We are each other's keeper. Like, we isolate the spirit from the body. A lot of times when people have broken hearts, it does affect the body. The body starts to have issues with the stomach. It starts to stress. Stress kills. Like, stress is something that you can't see, but it manifests in the body. People can't eat. There are probiotics in the gut, because the gut is the second brain, you know. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people end up imploding and not knowing. And a lot of people don't have anybody they can talk to. You know, they don't have anybody they could say, I want to cry, without being judged. And I think a lot of things is that a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people don't know where to go to be themselves, because everybody's wearing filters and they're being fabulous, that a lot of people are unlifing themselves. There's a lot of teenagers, it went up 10%, where there's a lot of teenagers that are no longer with us by their own choice. And we don't think about the repercussions of the next generation, and we don't speak to them. A lot of them have to deal with a lot of fake, filters and social media. That is traumatizing for them. Yeah, they don't, and then bullying, and then social bullying. So kids don't they're like, and also with the food. So taking into consideration, they're eating fake food, right? Their brain is not, their neurotransmitters in the brain are not firing up efficiently. So the brain is actually shrinking. The brain, due to the processed food, the food that we're feeding the body right now is not nutritionally dense. It has a lot of calories, so they don't have anything to pull from. The body is not getting nutrients. So now you're dealing with a brain that is not functioning at 100%. Also, that deals with the emotions. They're traumatized. They're afraid every time they watch the news. We have this going on. This is going on. And it's not fair. It's not fair to them. It's not fair. So if they have food that sustain their life energy and helps them deal with stress, where they're getting their minerals, their vitamins, their magnesium, their copper, they're getting enough nutrients that if stress does pull from the system, they have enough to bounce back. But if they're eating processed food that's fake, chemicals disguised as food, that's not nutritionally dense, nothing but calories and fat calories, and the kids are obese. Obesity went up 40%. In adults, so the food, 1 million people a year die based on their consumption of food. 1 million people are dead. Wow. The average person consumes 153 pounds of sugar. 153 pounds of sugar a day. The average person consumes that much sugar in 1 year. That sugar basically, it basically creates inflammation in the body. It increases depression. So we're eating food, we're eating food, and the doctors and the pharmaceutical benefits from this, because when you eat that stuff, it creates diabetes. And now diabetes too used to be adult onset diabetes. Our children are getting diabetes. They're children. They're children. Our children have to inject something in them because their body is insulin resistant. Their body can't take sugar. Wow.
Do you teach
and they're young.
Children yourself?
I work, see, the fish rock from the head. Once I get the mother is the one that birthed the world. We have, right now, a woman is as close to God as you're going to get, because we bring them into the world. That's our responsibility. We're their first teachers. I deal with the mother so the mother can feed the husband and the children. She is the queen of the house. He's the protector. She's the one that makes the food. So when she makes the food and put antioxidants, blueberries around, and she puts strawberries and she pretties up the food, he'll eat it. A lot of men are getting prostate. If you was to eat pumpkin seeds, raw pumpkin seeds has zinc in it. They're not getting enough zinc. They're not getting enough minerals. We're missing, the food is depleted of life energy. You're eating food that's chemical. There's no life in that food. For a living body, living foods for a living body, the food is dead. It's dead. It's sucking life energy from you to digest. Pineapples have has an enzyme that helps with the digestive process. The food is really the magic of healing. So what I do is deal with the mother spirit. I deal with the parents who make the food. When the parents start making the food, they start changing. The husband's like, damn, babe, you look good. You're looking good. You got energy now. You look like when I first met you. And then he start getting on board. Then the child been on board with the mother, because when the mother's making it, the kid will be around and be like, let me taste that. And you change their taste buds. You don't have to go around and beat people with a book and say, you shouldn't be eating that. People get enough verbal abuse every day. Feed them with love. People don't need it. Right now, people are spiritually exhausted. They want some love in their life. People want a hug. They want to be able to just feel that they're not by themselves. They want to feel another human being. People want to feel again.
It's true.
They want to feel. Yeah. So it's all in the
True.
mother, it's all in the person. When you buy the grocery, the kids are not buying the grocery, it's the parents buying the groceries. And once the parents start to understand the science of food, or understand the medicine in the food, and understand the antioxidant, the cruciferous vegetable with broccoli, vitamin K, it clogs, it helps clog up the, if you get a cut, it helps, clog up the cut and close it up. The food is so amazing. Sea moss, it has the minerals in it. The Irish sea moss. The vegetables, fruits are cleansers. Greens are builders. The chlorophyll in the plant is the blood for us. It helps clean us up. So we are really. The thing about us is that we have access to Google. Everything that I'm telling you is you could Google it yourself. But the thing about people is that we're so intellectual, we're so smart that we're not taking heed to what's in front of us. We're not taking advantage of nature, because nature has what you need. It has the sunlight, the photosynthesis. You have the pineapples, the sour sap. You have everything in the Garden of Eden. The food and the medicine is right in front of your face. But we are so conditioned, like Pavlov's dog, where you ring the bell. We have been conditioned from childhood to really go to the drugstore and get the drugs, when bottom line is that you had access to the healing all this time and you just didn't use it. You didn't use it. So now we're in a place where it's a lot going on with the food. It's a lot going on with food shortage. People talking about food shortage. People talking about, well, what are we going to do? And this is the time to take your life serious, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that there's something in the world that's happening. And if we don't take responsibility for our health, I grow my food. I garden. I have a garden. I grow my food. I have bananas, mangoes, papaya. I grow kale. So I took mine another level. But when I was in Brooklyn, somebody called the cops on me, thanks to my neighbor. I was growing food on a fire escape. I had tomatoes. I had basil. Yeah, but somebody called the cops on me, said, hey, she's growing.
Why?
Because they said it's a fire hazard that you're not supposed to block the fire escape. But I had tomatoes.
Yeah.
I had like broccoli, not broccoli. I had like vines of cucumbers that was vining up. So people were like, all right. So that's when I said, you know what? It was, and I was going to share. I could have shared it, but I had, but I ended up leaving the States. So I left the States because I wanted more. And I felt I could be of service to my community, because I also do retreats, like you heard about. I do retreats. So what people do is that instead of staying at the Hilton or at one of those hotels, you get to meet the people. You go to the farmer's market. We do the workshops here with you. We make the food with you. We go hiking in the Mayan ruin, the Mayan sacred ruins. We go in the river. We bathe in the river. We bathe in the sea. And it's just,
Every day. Everyone will say, stop crying, brother, stop crying. But it's going to be happy tears. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be happy tears. I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm so emotional.
It's such a blessing. Oh, man. And I got to tell you, because in New York, it was getting cold. And I was raw in New York when it was cold in January. My hands was turning blue. I was there for 5 winters, and I had to leave. My hands was like, the tips were blue. And I was like, I had to wear 3 pair of pants and 3 coats, because I was, I'm a little person. I don't have that much body fat. I'm like, oh my God, it's freezing. And I said, I can't spend another winter here. I got to get out. So, then I also had fibroids. The fibroids was, I was vegetarian. I'm going to say it. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Let's talk about it. I was vegetarian. I was eating a vegetarian lifestyle. I was spending $300 for one bag, vegetarian, with the fried pats, burgers. I'm being facetious. But when I went to the health food store, like fried pats, expensive. And I was trying to be healthy. I was eating from the can of chili. I was eating Amy's pizza. But when I was vegetarian, I wasn't eating vegetables. I was eating a lot of pizzas and the veggie burgers. I was eating the French fries. I was eating a lot of bread. I was eating a lot of baked potatoes. I was eating, but I didn't eat no vegetables. I was eating vegetarian, but it was all processed. And I got bloated. I was so big, and it was feeding the stuff that was in the chemicals that was in the vegetarian food was making the fibroids bigger. The estrogen was making it bigger. And I was like, wow. And it was getting hard. It was starting to protrude out like I was pregnant. And I'm a trainer. I'm a fitness trainer. And my clients was like, you know how people could be. They really wicked with the tongue. You training me? Well, listen, people want you to, when you were training, you got to look like what they, So my stomach
You
kept
got
getting bigger. Yeah, you got to look the
yeah.
part. So my stomach was getting bigger. And I was like, what's going on? But it was getting hard. So I went to the GYN and I got the x-ray. And they said, you have 6 fibroids in there and it's getting bigger. And I said, well, I'm vegetarian. They was like, well, whatever you eat and is making it bigger. And I was like, okay, it was the chemicals. So I went raw, and my sister touched my stomach and she started crying. And I said, I'm just gonna get the surgery because I need to keep my job. And I was working at Reebok. I was one of the fitness trainers at Reebok. And so yeah, I was there and I was like, I'm making good money here, honey. What? Training all of these so-called, these basketball celebrities. I was training. And all of these people, the CEOs of company, and I was getting tips on Christmas, $500 here, Apple computer here. I was like, what? I'm not leaving the job. But what happened was they was going to give me a hysterectomy. They said it's so close, it's in the ovaries that we have to cut you open and take your uterus. I said, oh, no. I said, this is so wrong. So I started crying. I was going to stay. And my sister was like, listen, you're dying. She held my stomach and she started crying. I'll never forget that day because we cried together. And she said, you're dying. She said, you are dying. And that's when I had to make a choice. I had to let it go because it was. Huh?
What was you in your 40s when this happened? Your 30s?
Yeah, I was in my 40s. I was in my 40s, late 40s. It was there all along, but it wasn't so big. But then it got big. It started because I was eating a lot of the soy burgers, the fake this, the fake that, the fake cheese, which had casing in it. I was eating a lot of chemical stuff. I was eating a lot of the soy ice cream, the soy, the TCB, the fake meat where you put it in water and it's soy and it absorbs the water. Tofu. Wow. Yeah, everything was messing me up.
Only eat fruit. Now you only eat fruit, veg, seeds.
Yep.
No cooked food.
No, and nothing processed. Nothing. If it doesn't come out of the dirt or if it doesn't come off a tree, I'm not eating it. I almost died, and I was like, I was thinking I was vegetarian. I was like, I'm spending all this money at the health food store. Yeah. It wasn't cheap. And I said, let me invest in myself. Let me do the health food store. And I'm coming out there with like a bag, like maybe two bags of $200 I spent. I'm going to stretch it out with the soy burgers and the scrambled tofu scrambled and the chicken, the soy chicken burgers. But I got to be honest with you, I wasn't eating no greens. I'm going to tell you the truth. I think I just had an iceberg lettuce and tomatoes on it. But I wasn't eating like broccoli. And I wasn't eating like, bok choy. I wasn't eating any greens. I was eating mango in the summertime. But I was predominantly a vegan, but I was more eating processed vegan food. And it caught up with me. So that's when I went raw. I actually went to Central America. I saw what I liked. And I gave up, when I came back to the States, I gave up all my furniture. I put it on the street. I put it on the street and I called people and said, come and get this leather jacket. I shouldn't have been wearing leather anyway, but I was, I had an expensive motorcycle jacket. And, because I had an expensive, that jacket, I was motorcycle. But I gave that away to a friend that he had his eye on it for years. So I gave it to him, but I put all my stuff on the street, the couch and everything. Yeah, and I gave it away and I broke out. I left.
Was it just like cleaning out everything, starting all over again?
Yeah, I had to start all over again. Because my life, I was actually dying. Then I had hyperthyroid too. They was gonna cut me here and they was gonna cut me down here. Yeah, I had the hyperthyroid and they was like, well, we got to cut you up there, and we're going to take out your uterus. I was like, man, I said, no.
Has it gone down? Has it gone down? It's gone?
Yeah, it went down. It's gone. And so is the fibroids. The fibroids are gone. All of it's gone. It took about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. Year and a half. But I was strictly raw all that time. Didn't eat any cooked food. Left the States, did my meditation. Didn't take any stress. I was in the bush. I spent some time in the bush for 2 years just to get my head right. And now I'm living in Central America, in Belize, in a more populated area with the Mayans and stuff. But, and we grow food. But I had to leave because I think if I would have stayed, I would have gotten cut. But you know the fibroids grow back, right? And it most
Yeah.
likely would have grown back because I wouldn't have stopped. I would have kept doing what I was doing. Plus, you know, back then, I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't the best person in the world. I used to drink. I used to go to clubs. I used to do crazy stuff.
Yeah. Someone up here, how do we know if we have fibroids then
How?
already? And someone said, well, were you using herbs?
No, I wasn't using herbs. I wasn't at all. I was actually just eating a lot of processed food. And this is when I was young and I was drinking alcohol. And I was, then also with fibroids, we don't talk about it. I was also angry at my mother. I held resentment from my childhood because I had some trauma, and that trauma manifested in my body. A lot of the stuff that I was eating, the burgers, the
Ooh,
cookies. Yeah. So I was dealing with a lot of anger from my mother, and I was dealing with a lot of trauma that I didn't want to deal with. So the food basically made me feel like the at the health food store, the cookies, the soy ice cream. I used to get Netflix or get like the videos, and I used to kick my foot back, get some Chinese food, some vegetable fried rice, and some Amy's pizza and some vegan this, vegan that, and I used to just veg out, and not deal. You know what I'm saying? So food to me, and I know what that's like. So I had a lot of anger issues. I had to see a therapist because now me and my mother's talking, but a lot of that anger, I ate it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't deal with my emotions. And I just went to the gym and worked out and said, oh, I have a nice body. I don't have to think about my emotions. And I was eating vegetarian food. So I was not being honest with myself. I was hiding, and I was not in a good place as far as my emotions with my mom. And I think for me, I love my mother so much that and I needed her in my life, but I didn't want to be soft. I didn't want to be vulnerable. So I had to be tough. And I think.
What's the steps that you took to fixing the relationship?
Well,
Realizing that you've ate your emotions. When did you realize it? And then what did you do to neutralize it?
when I realized it is when every time I came around my family, or every time I thought about my family, there was anger in me. There was like a moment where we would go to every Thanksgiving, we would get into a big argument. It would be like, somebody would throw the turkey over the room type of thing. And it was something so silly, but it was like when we got together, we were trauma bonding because it was a lot of stuff in our family that we did not talk about, that we buried, and we just laughed about it. And we just ate the turkey. But so for me, when I started having these feelings and I wanted to get into a healthy relationship with somebody, I realized that a lot of that played into why I couldn't have healthy relationships, love relationships with people, is because I was not very loving. And I couldn't give what I didn't have because I was always angry. So if I didn't deal with getting rid of the original sin, then nothing was coming out of a love relationship with somebody else. It was so much trauma. So I had to get some help because I wanted to be in a loving relationship with myself and with other people. And I noticed the common denominator is that I would have relationships with people, and it would always come out the end would be the same with everybody. So it wasn't the other person, but they had their stuff. But I also had mine, that I was kind of, gaslighting other people like a little bit of a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? And it was working against me because then I couldn't find somebody to stay in a long-term situation. So it was a combination of food, the emotion, and just really being transparent. Like I'm being honest right now. I would never have done that because I would have had so much pride that I didn't want people in my business. And also having a Caribbean family, growing up in a Caribbean family, that we're not supposed to let people in our business, or you should pray to God about it. You don't let everybody in your business because that's going to make you look weak, and that people are going to use that against you when it's actually quite healing.
Yeah, it is. It is. Everything you just said, it's like that's my whole life story. It's funny. Everything you just said, I can relate to every single bit of it when it comes to family, my mom, food, arguments, everything, emotions,
It's
going
fun.
to the
Yeah.
gym.
So it's
In
funny. Yeah. So it's funny. Every time me and my mother talk, we always say, I love you. Because, it took me years. And now she still does the same thing, She still does it. She
your
just
mom.
can't help herself. My mother she has a way of, like, she knows how to poke me. Like she knows what to say to get a reaction. But based on me working on myself, I laugh now when I see it. I'm like, Mom, I love you.
Yeah.
You're so
Yeah.
funny. I love you. You're
Oh,
so
that's
funny. Yeah,
you've
yeah,
accepted.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
accepted a lot. Oh, that's lovely. Because
yeah.
I like doing that. I like accepting people for who they are and realizing that I can't control anything that's outside of
Right.
myself.
But what you do have, you basically what you do have control over is what your response to the outer world. You do have control. Between that, you could go in your subconscious mind, your reptilian brain, and you could keep playing that dance out. But when people are not present, what happens with people is that they keep playing the same story out. They're not present. They're not here in the now. And that's what
Mm,
happened with me. I used to see my mother, and I used to see that, and I used to flare up on her what she did 20 years ago. And I'm like,
yeah.
honey, it's not 20 years, and you're a grown woman. You're not that person anymore. What's going on here? And then I have a pullback because I know what's happening because she's still saying the same thing. But I have the power to respond, pull back, don't respond, take a deep breath. That's where meditation comes in. Because
Yeah.
now I could actually I have the power to hold it, absorb what's going on, acknowledge it, and I can say, and I can now being present, I can say something different. Because insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. If I continue down that trajectory with my mom, it would have been so horrible, not only for her, but for my mental state, because I don't know how long my mother got on this planet. I don't know how long I got, but I don't want us to end this story and we transition never really saying I love you.
Yeah.
And I can't have a healthy relationship with anybody unless I have the first one with the woman that brought birth. I came out of her womb, so
Yeah.
we are in a really good place right now. That was big. And that also helped me with my food choices because now I'm not numbing out on sugar and ice cream, wanting milk and wanting love through sugar, candy, love me, candy, sugar, anger, potato
Uh,
chips, crunch, crunch. So the food has ways of really getting to you and pulling on certain strings, emotional strings. So
yeah.
I had to really go in to come out. You got to go in because the answers are inside. It's not outside. I think we spend a lot of time looking outside of ourselves for love, but you have to love yourself first. You have to heal that child that is hurting because nobody could do it for you. I went into relationships thinking, oh, well, this person's going to fix me, or this person I could forget about and just dive into this relationship and not have to deal. But that has an expiration date because every
What?
relationship, huh?
Go on. The relationship.
Every relationship has that honeymoon stage, and then you start to see the real person because they start to see you too. So now you have to say, wow, I didn't know this person. Wow, I didn't know this person was like that. And they're saying the same thing about you,
And 10 years go by.
yeah,
You don't
10
know
years go by, and then you're getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What three
so
things would you give, what three things would you give to people who are not sure about where they're supposed to be when it comes to their emotions? Some people don't know where to start on loving themselves. Like, how do I do that?
mhm.
What three things would you say for people, like a starter kit
Well,
to loving yourself?
what I can say is to thyself be true. We live in a world where it's superficial and it's fake. I think a lot of times people, especially young people, they're dealing with social. We didn't have social media. Can you hear me?
Sorry,
Okay, you can hear me.
you just broke. Say that again.
Yeah, I
Children,
did.
young children.
Okay. I think when I was growing up, we didn't have social media. And I think kids right now are dealing with there's a lot, fighting for their attention. They have social media. A lot of kids are exposed to stuff that they shouldn't be exposed to. They're watching things that's getting in their head. Like a lot of the stuff that's going on, they're too young for that. But it's basically, it's fighting for their attention. They're in a situation where they're so precious, but their mind is being invaded by other people's sickness, other people's stuff. And these kids are not ready for that. And bottom line is that they're trying to decipher this world. They're trying to figure this out, but there's other people that's coming in their head. What I can tell people at 56, I never had children because And not everybody should have children. And I'm going to say this. Just because you can have children doesn't mean that you should. Bottom line is that when my mother had me, she wasn't ready. She should not have had me. She should not. She should never have had children. Never. We all have different fathers. She was looking for love. She was looking for a daddy. And I can honestly say, for that person that's looking for daddy and got daddy issues, please don't bring no more children in this world. Don't. We got enough children that you could adopt. And if you want to get your mama on, please adopt. But a lot of these kids, my mother had me at 14. She didn't know she was a child having a child, but she wanted to be loved. And this man said all of the right stuff. She got knocked up pregnant, and he left when he found out she was pregnant, that she did the same thing with somebody else. But if you have daddy issues, and if you feel that you looking for love, I highly recommend that you don't have children. Don't. Go seek counsel. Ask pertinent questions. Really work on yourself so you can be the mother. My mother wasn't a mother for me. My grandmother raised me. My mother was not mentally able to, she had me, but she wasn't mentally able. She was a child herself having children. So she was not capable of giving me love because she was too busy looking for love outside for a father figure. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have a father. She's looking for daddy. And we are and what happens when you have children like that, you create trauma. Because now this child is going to run the streets. They're going to go find what you, and then bottom line is that the mother and the child is, and in some homes they're smoking weed together. They're like, it's crazy. Who's the mother? There's no boundaries. A lot of these kids don't have a sense of boundary. They don't know how to respond in society. They don't know how to move in society because they never had any respect for society, because they came out of a situation where it was anything goes type of thing. There was no elder. There was nobody, the rites of passage, like the taking the kid to school. My mother, being a kid, didn't know how to go to open school night. She was a child. She took everything as joke. And so it was like, for me, I had to learn boundaries. I had to learn not to say certain things in public because it was a bit much, to hold your tongue. There's a time and a place for everything. I didn't get that at my house. Everybody was cursing. This one was doing this. This person was doing this. And it was multiple chaos. It took years for me to get to this. And still I'm a work in progress. And that's why I did not want to have children, because if I would have had children in that state of mind, I would have most likely abused it physically, because I would have been so angry, because I have anger in me at that point, and that child would have been, and then the father probably wouldn't have been around, and that child would have been abused, and then it would have been more abuse in the world. Children should come here in love. You have to want them. They have to be planned. I do believe that. And two people have to be in the child's life, even if they're not together at whatever point. The child needs love from two people or more. It takes a village to raise a child. That's why I never had children, because I felt that I needed to put the work in for me. So when I started getting the work in with the therapy, and I also started to change my consumption, I also realized that the fibroids came from anger. It came from anger. It came from my emotions of holding things, trauma in, and it manifested in my body as tumors, just like that. Yeah. So once I started to open up and be transparent, and I started to eat living foods for a living body, so the medicine is in the food, and also I'm healing my spirit, this is what you see right now in front of you. And also, it doesn't make me any less of a woman by not having a child out of my womb. If anything, I saved the world.
Yeah.
Of bringing in some.
It makes sense. It means, I wish I had someone like you when I was growing, like when I was younger. So it's a good guidance. You basically, I know you're not saying, because some people might get that wrong and be like, oh, well, I'm a great mom and I didn't plan my child, or I don't agree, or blah, blah, blah. But what you're saying really makes sense, because you took into consideration that your past trauma that everyone should be looking at, and when they're doing the self-love journey, your past trauma, you passed down to children without you even knowing. I could have some of my great-great-grandma's trauma because she didn't heal. And the fibroid thing, it wasn't me. Right. And I know it wasn't me because there's women before me in my family on both sides, my dad's side and my mom's side, and they have it. All right. So, but it's they have what I have, and it's like it's been given to me because I went through a situation that was very similar to their story.
Right.
So when I did research, I realized what happened to those women happened to me.
Right. And yep.
And then that's why now I have what they have. So like you, I want to be the one in my family to reverse it.
To break that,
So
to break that
I want to
generational
break that
curse.
cycle. The next fella, Bella.
Right.
Me, so
Yeah.
that's my journey now, healing myself. And, I want to be like you could help me.
Yeah,
So
and you could help me. We could help the world because it takes, I am my brother and my sister's keeper by us having conversations like this. Because I do work out, and I know when, as far as fitness has helped me maintain my sanity, and it also has helped me maintain my physical soul and also the food, so I don't have to take, diabetes runs in my family. But also with that, I got to say the big thing too was the mental health, going to the therapist, talking to somebody. I can't do this by myself. I didn't have the right guidance from my mother. My mother could not help me. God bless her. She tried.
Yeah.
She tried. She definitely tried. She did what she knew at that point. And I can't fault her for that because that's all she knew. She was 14. So you gotta forgive. And forgiveness
you retreat
is
next.
Yeah, but one thing about forgiveness, one thing about forgiveness, what got me to this point is to love and forgive. Because forgiveness wasn't so much for her. Forgiveness was for me because I learned how to let go of the pain. Once we start, now when I talk to my mother, I hug her, we laugh, we eat food together, and she says, "Hey, I love you. I love you." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is what I've been waiting for all my life." Because she never said that, when I was a kid. Yeah, so it's a tough situation. It's a tough call, babes. I gotta get it out, but it's tough. It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah,
it was tough.
Trust me, I understand. And when I see you at the retreat next year,
so the retreat.
You late so much, But the retreat, I was saying, I can help you because if anyone drops out, I can teach a class.
Okay. Yeah, we can always have that. We can always have that.
I didn't teach this Pilates class. I was like, yeah, okay, fine.
Okay, got your back. That's good. Okay, that's good. You got my back.
My sister reminds me. So, I see my sister in you. My sister Casmin, a lot in you, and I really need to bring her to meet you. She really needs to meet you, and that's the first thing I saw when I saw your page. Before I did my research, I thought, okay, this is my sister in another woman. It's weird. It's like you're the evolved version of my sister right now, and she meet you. You know what I mean? So I'm just so grateful.
Yeah.
What are you passionate about outside of your fitness and your vegan raw food? What else are you passionate about? Because we know you love to dance.
I love to dance. I love to laugh. I love people. I love to make food for people. I love to be in the garden. I love watching plants grow from a little seed all the way to a tree. I love the intelligence of watching Mother Earth and how nature, I could put a broccoli seed in and I could put a cauliflower seed in, and they have the intelligence in that little seed of the size of a tiny petal. And I could put them in the dirt and they grow to a big plant. I love watching nature. I love hugging trees. I love coconut water. I love climbing coconut trees. At my age, I love it. So
so colorful. Your page is colorful. It's vibrant. When you go on your page, you could never come off. When you come off, you feel so giddy. You feel giddy when you come off your. Swear to God, lovely feeling. And what do you say in the beginning of your videos? You go, hi people, it's your girl Delilah Fitness, and you start putting up in what you're doing that day, and it's just so relatable, and it's inviting. Your energy
and that's
is very
what's
inviting.
so great. And that's what's so great because I don't want to be a faker. I don't want to be a poser. I think we live in a world of fluff, and I think people don't need more fluff. They need the realness, because what's happening is that people are not sure of what's going on. And if they have something that's concrete, something that's real, they, you know, and you could be yourself, you know what I mean? And that's what we need. We need more people who are authentic and who move in a sense of integrity, as opposed to hypocrisy. Do as I say and not as I do. Yeah, you'll see me doing this, but you don't have to do it. I could do it, but you can't. You know, we want to follow by example. Like when you see me as a person that eats fruits and vegetables, you're not going to catch me eating a burger. You know what I mean? I guarantee that. Or smoking a cigarette or drinking alcohol, or see me at a club. You're not going to see that, because that's not who I am. So everything that you see in my video is my life. I'm giving you split pieces of my life, and I'm just, you know, sharing my life with you. So, you know, for somebody that it resonates with, take it and run with it. Take it and
beautiful.
Go and run with it. Yeah.
It's amazing. On September the 1st, she posted a post saying, I'm living my dream right now, guys. I'm in heaven. And you was lying.
And I was lying down. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, I was like, girl, I want to do that. Like,
I was saying, yeah. And the thing is that you think you need a lot of money. And I think we spent so much time worrying about money. And the thing with me is that when I knew I was sick and I was, you know, it was happening, I said, if I had 24 hours to live and I knew I was going to die in 24 hours, what would I do differently? World changes when you got expiration date right around the